Narcissistic abuse, a form of psychological manipulation, inflicts lasting damage on mental health by exploiting and demeaning individuals for the abuser's gain. This pervasive pattern extends beyond immediate emotional pain, leaving enduring scars on mental well-being. In this video, we will explore 10 ways in which narcissistic abuse can impact mental health. 1. Low self-esteem. Imagine having a friend who never misses a chance to criticize your choices, big or small. They don't just offer advice. It's a constant stream of negativity that makes you question your every move. You start feeling like you can't do anything right, and even your victories feel overshadowed by their disapproval. It's like having a personal cheerleader who only knows one chant: "You're not good enough." Have you ever had someone in your life who seems to make it their mission to criticize every move you make? That's the narcissistic playbook right there. They don't just stop at a little constructive feedback. It's a relentless barrage of belittlement. Over time, it's like they've taken a wrecking ball to your self-esteem. Every achievement is overshadowed by their disapproval, and suddenly, you find yourself questioning if you're ever going to be good enough for anything or anyone. It's like they hand you a one-way ticket to the "I'm not worthy" club, and you're stuck there, trying to remember what confidence even feels like. 2. Anxiety and depression. Picture this: life as a never-ending emotional roller coaster, and the operator is your narcissistic abuser. They're cranking up the stress, and anxiety and depression become your unwelcome companions. Happiness feels like a distant memory, and the darkness they bring becomes so familiar that it's almost comforting. You're constantly waiting for the other shoe to drop, and it's exhausting. The emotional turmoil becomes a perpetual storm, and you're left wondering if the sun will ever shine again. 3. Trust issues. Think about someone you trusted implicitly, only to have them break promises over and over. Now, imagine living with that constant fear that everyone else might do the same. It's like being handed a "trust no one" manual and feeling like you're on guard 24/7. Letting people in becomes a risky venture, and you're left wondering if you'll ever feel secure again. Betrayal becomes a daily feature in the narcissistic relationship saga. Promises are made and broken, and trust, that once sacred foundation of any relationship, turns into a mythical creature you're not even sure exists. It's like trying to catch smoke with your bare hands. You become a professional skeptic, questioning every motive and sincerity, not just of your abuser, but of everyone around you. It's tough to let people in when you're not even sure you can trust yourself to judge character anymore. 4. Isolation and social withdrawal. Envision being stranded on an emotional island with your narcissistic abuser as the only inhabitant. They've constructed an emotional moat around you, making it nearly impossible to connect with others. Even if you try, there's this lingering fear of being judged or manipulated, so you end up retreating into your shell. It becomes a lonely existence where letting people in feels like handing them a roadmap to your vulnerabilities, and that's a scary thought. 5. Post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. The nightmare doesn't end when you wake up. Even after escaping the toxic relationship, the trauma lingers like an unwanted house guest. Flashbacks, hypervigilance. It's like your brain stuck on repeat. The past becomes an uninvited guest that won't leave, and moving forward feels like trying to run with lead shoes on. Every day becomes a battle between the present and the haunting echoes of what you endured. Remember that nightmare that shook you to your core? Now, imagine living aspects of it every day, even after waking up. It's like the past is a ghost that won't let go. Flashbacks and hypervigilance become your new normal, and moving forward feels like trying to run with chains around your ankles. Surprisingly, 80% of our audience hasn't subscribed. Please click the subscribe button and give this video a like to support us in the YouTube algorithm. Thank you. Now, let's continue, shall we? 6. Emotional dysregulation. Think about a time when your emotions felt like a wild roller coaster. One minute, you're fine, and the next, you're overwhelmed. Now, imagine that happening daily. It's like being on a ride you never signed up for, and emotional stability becomes an elusive dream. You find yourself wondering, who am I today? Imagine having an emotional switch that's stuck on unpredictable. That's the emotional roller coaster gifted by narcissistic abuse. One moment you're cruising along and the next you're plunged into the abyss. It's like trying to navigate a storm without a compass. The constant emotional turmoil can leave you feeling like a stranger in your own skin, wondering if there's a version of you that's not at the mercy of every emotional gust. 7. Cognitive dissonance. Picture having a friend who's both incredibly supportive and incredibly hurtful, depending on the moment. It's confusing, right? Now imagine your whole reality is a mix of these contradictions. The person you love is also the one causing you pain, and it feels like your mind is caught in a never-ending tug of war. Welcome to the room of conflicting signs where one says they're perfect and the other says they're hurting you. That's cognitive dissonance, the mind-bending result of the twisted games narcissistic abusers play. You're stuck in a mental tug of war between the idealized image they've created and the harsh reality you're living. It's like your brain is trying to juggle two incompatible truths, and the constant contradiction becomes a recipe for mental exhaustion. 8. Impaired decision-making. Making decisions with a narcissistic abuser is like trying to drive through a foggy forest without headlights. Gaslighting messes with your judgment, turning every decision into a labyrinth of doubt. It's like your decision-making compass got a serious case of amnesia, and every choice becomes a potential landmine. Second-guessing becomes the norm, and you find yourself stuck in a perpetual loop of indecision. Remember a time when you had to make a decision, and suddenly, doubt crept in like an unwelcome guest. Now imagine that happening with every choice, big or small. It's like trying to navigate a maze with a foggy map, and every decision feels like a potential misstep. 9. Boundary issues. Imagine having this invisible force field meant to protect you, but narcissistic abusers are like wizards who can just stroll right through it. Boundaries become a blurry mess, and figuring out where you end and they begin becomes a complex puzzle. Even after the relationship ends, rebuilding those boundaries feels like trying to assemble a jigsaw with missing pieces. It's a constant struggle between self-preservation and the fear of being vulnerable again. 10. Self-blame and guilt. Have you ever had someone else's mess dumped on your doorstep and they somehow convinced you it's your fault? That's the twisted art of narcissistic blame shifting. They're experts at flipping the blame switch, making you feel like you're the reason everything went south. It's like carrying a backpack filled with rocks labeled guilt and shame, and escaping its weight takes time, self-reflection, and a whole lot of self-compassion. Breaking free from the cycle of self-blame becomes a journey of rediscovering your worth and untangling yourself from the web of manipulation. Have you ever had someone make you feel responsible for their mistakes? Now imagine carrying that weight not just for their actions but for everything that went wrong. It's like being handed a bag of guilt and shame, and escaping its grip feels like an uphill battle. You start questioning your every move, wondering if you're truly the cause of all the chaos. Breaking free becomes a journey of self-discovery and learning to let go of the undeserved burden. Seek support from friends, family, or mental health professionals who can provide guidance and understanding. Engaging in self-care practices such as mindfulness and self-reflection becomes an empowering tool in reclaiming your mental well-being. Learn from this experience. Let it be a catalyst for personal growth, resilience, and the unwavering belief in your own worth. The journey to healing may have its challenges, but with time, compassion for yourself, and a commitment to positive change, you can emerge stronger and more resilient than ever before. Remember, the power to shape your narrative and define your future lies within you. Embrace the lessons, cherish your growth, and step confidently into a brighter, more empowered chapter of your life.